Something like. You need some food? Hold on. Get you some food. Hmm. What it do? What's going on, Sienna? Tap in, tap in, tap in. Hit that like button. Yeah. 9 o'clock on the dot. Let's get to it. Oh man. Well, I decided to do some gaming tonight. And I gamed for quite some time. I was like trying to bring my people some type of experience, showing them what I be doing in the gaming world. But I don't know, man. It was a slow night, man. It's a weird Saturday. Like I'm really kind of looking at the Saturday like, dang, maybe I should be downtown. Only problem is there's all kind of snow downtown. It's freezing cold downtown. You got to have money in this town to go downtown. So I stay home. I turn on the video game. I say, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna live stream it. So I live stream it, right? And then when I live stream it, we get a few people, you know, not many. I was playing GTA 5 tonight, man. I was just streaming only the heists. You know what I'm saying? And I got two out the way successfully, but like one of them, dude, the CEO was an idiot, man. I got Call of Duty too, but I don't want to live stream Call of Duty, man, because Call of Duty is, boy, you got to be good as hell to play Call of Duty, man. Music fan, what's going on, man? You got to. I was just saying, you got to be good as hell to play Call of Duty, man. You can't just jump on that game and think you're gonna live stream unless you want to look bad. Oh, oh, okay. You know, um, I was just telling person that was in here that I be gaming. I don't really be gaming. I just play video games sometimes, but I wanted to live stream it onto the channel tonight. So that's what I did. The first time was a test run, but the second time was like an actual run, you know what I mean? And so everything was going good till I got to the last one, and dude was acting like an idiot. And but I guess I need to give my own commentary, right? So, that's what man, I keep yawning. That's the next day. Well, like I said, it was more like a test run. I wasn't really going ahead and, but that's why I wanted to jump on right after, because I wanted to see if the people that was watching would come and talk to me and I can see what they thought, because it was about, for the amount of time that I was playing the game. Oh man, I can't believe, that right there. Cause I don't play Fortnite. I don't play Minecraft. I don't play any of the games that are popular, man. I don't. But you know what? It's all right, because if that's gonna be a thing, then that's gonna be a thing. But like for me, um, I put stuff on there that I feel like is gonna be entertainment, entertaining to the next people. So well, I did. That's what I did, Sizzy. I went ahead and I had a commentary. I do this because this is what I want to do. That's the short answer. I do it because I want to do it. I do it because I'm able to do it. I do it because I worked hard enough to be able to do it. I hope that answers your question. I do a lot of stuff, bro. I do a lot of stuff. And I'm proud of it. And not only am I proud of it, I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do it all. And that's a fact. What am I most proud of? I'm most proud of myself. What would you have done differently if you started all over again at 14? What would I have done different if I would have started over at 14? I wouldn't have became a juvenile delinquent. That's that's probably what I would have changed is I wouldn't have became a juvenile delinquent. But here's the thing, how do you start over, and how do you start over from a younger age with the knowledge of your discarded life? How does that work, man? How does that work? How do you start over with the knowledge of your discarded life? I mean, it's easy, it's fun. Yeah, it's fun to think about it and to talk about it, but like, no, I wouldn't like to know. If I discarded my life, I want to discard the memories with that life. I don't talk about my love life, Mike. I don't talk about it, bro. If I like I said, if I had to start over, if I had the ability to start over, I would want to start over with a freshly wiped memory with no memories of a past life, you know. And it's crazy because they say that there's already people that have reincarnated with memories of their past life. You know what I'm saying? So I guess you only get what God gives you. Bada bing, bada bang. Nothing but a thing. Well, some people think it's true and some people don't. But for me, I've never experienced nothing like that. I was always taught that deja vu are memories from a past life. That's what I was taught growing up my entire life. And I'm pretty sure everybody's done had a deja vu where this weird feeling comes over you. You know the feeling of a deja vu. That's why they put a name to it to describe the feeling. You know, it's I guess it's pretty much proof that we've done all this shit before. Either that or there's another one of you in a parallel universe. I don't really know. I just know that deja vus are real. They mean something. You don't just have them because how does your brain go into this mode where you have this feeling that you've done something and you've been at a place before, even if it's a place that you've never been? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you have that feeling? What is that about? Where did the feeling of familiarity come from in the first place? To me, that's the biggest question. If a deja vu is not real, then how do you have that feeling? You know what I'm saying? Where does it come from? And how can you stand in one spot and feel like you have been here before? It's either a parallel universe or you've been there in a past life. But I'm betting on a parallel universe because they say there's more than one universe. You know what I'm saying? Like there's more than one version of this reality. There's multiple versions because they say that there's multiple variations of you out there. So I'm not the only version of me. You ain't the only version of you. There's other versions of us out there. And so when you have a deja vu, that's when you and another you in another reality are standing in the same spot at the same time, or maybe that person did it a little bit before you, and then now you're doing it, and then you're like, wow, this feels familiar. Let's talk about it, man. What you think about a deja vu, man? I'm trying to figure it out. You know, what is that feeling that you get? Where does that come from? Why does your brain trigger that feeling, man? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you go into deja vu mode and you want to know, damn, have I been here before? Am I tripping? And some people have strong deja vus, bro. Like, some people, that feeling that you get from it is stronger than others, to where, you know, well, it depends on, maybe you got knocked off your path. If you were to be on the right path, you probably would still have them, right? But what I want to know is, not only do deja vus invoke certain feelings, but some people's are really, really strong. Like, they can remember, and other people can't. Other people just get the feeling of something familiar, but other people got the familiar feeling with thoughts to go with it. Like, they can remember shit, and that shit's been proven over time. It's like, that is not like no, and like I said, I believe that there's more than one version of us out there throughout the universe. You know what? It's kind of like, in my opinion, it's similar to how, if you look through a certain telescope or a certain lens at the sun, and the sun reflects like 4 times in a row. What's going on, Arya? I'm sure everybody's seen that. You look through a certain type of lens, and the sun or the moon, it's reflected side by side multiple times. And that could be very well what we are, in some type of way, in some type of sense. I'm not really sure though, man. That's like some shit I'm just really talking about for the first time tonight. But it is some shit I've heard other people talk about in the past that always made me think, because that thought of familiarity does pop up in a lot of people, and nobody's ever been able to, you know, explain it. But my whole thing is this: I don't expect for no living human being to explain every fucking thing, because there's a lot of unexplainable shit out there. And so there's no scientist, there's no scholar, there's no college graduate. I don't give a fuck how smart they are. Some things you're not gonna, it ain't no explaining it, right? Like, but they want us to think that there's some smart guy out there that's able to study the unknown and then come up with these answers, and I don't believe that. I don't believe that in any way. I believe there's a lot of mysterious shit that goes on amongst the human community, and amongst the spiritual community, and amongst sp- the space community. You know what I'm saying? These are things that I believe, you know. And if you believe the same thing, man, let me see a 100, man. We need to spam the algorithm, man. Because, like, I really want to talk about this, but I can't talk to myself about it. Like, I want to have a like discussion with some people that like are actually cool enough and open-minded enough and like just regular enough to sit down and have a conversation about it without running away and going and watching the headband dance 1,000 times in a row. But that's just me, man. Like, I just got through gaming, made a couple dollars on my little account. That was cool. After this, I'm gonna lay it down for the night. All right. Yeah. But like I've been like it's all good whether you kick people or not, man. They've been playing with my numbers a lot lately, like a whole lot. And I really don't feel like it's YouTube. I feel like it's these people. They're all controlled by a higher entity, so they play whatever games that they're meant to play. And it is what I don't want to summon the demons, because the demons will come in here and they will start talking a lot of shit and start trolling, and we won't even be able to have a real conversation about it. Yeah, Aria, I'm down for that. You know, cause is it in conjunction to what we talking about, like in reference to it? Talking about more on this topic of what it means to have a deja vu and where it could possibly come from and why we even have those thoughts or those feelings. And some people say that their deja vus are really moments of nostalgia when they not even in a place where they remember from the past. It's just a completely random place they ain't never been, but this feeling of nostalgia comes over them, and they don't understand why that happens. And neither do I. So it to me, it's like, you know, yeah, well, that could be very very well the reason, but like I said, I don't believe that some motherfucking things are to be explained by any human being, because like if me and you have these feelings of this nostalgic deja vu, how the fuck is some smart person gonna come out of nowhere and just have a whole explanation to why? How do they know? What do you study to find out how you know what the feeling of a deja vu is? Like, hey, what's going on, Drex and Christ Walker? We just talking about why people have deja vus and why it ends up being a feeling of nostalgia sometimes, and how some people actually can remember things about the deja vu, man. A lot of people have it and then it dissipates and they can't really remember exactly. If you ask them a week later, they won't really remember the exact moment they had it, right? But other people, it's a very strong signal, and we want to know why. And I want to know, how are scientists or anybody able to give answers to shit like that? And I like, my whole thing is, Aria says you can use black box methodology through systems theory and measure things like that. Not gonna lie, I wonder about that too. Yeah, because I feel like that's something that a lot of people have these feelings, but they don't really pay attention to them as much as they should, because I really feel like it's significant to our existence, and how, like, for real, man, like, could that mean that we're living in a parallel universe where there's more versions of you, homie? You ain't the only version. Just think about this for a minute. There is another you out there somewhere doing the same exact shit that you doing, but one of y'all might be a little bit faster or ahead than the other, or one person might be a little bit behind. So that means you do something first and then your other version does it. And then when they do it, they feel the nostalgia and they feel the deja vu from it, because they're feeling something standing in the same position that you were previously in. And so, man, that's kind of spooky though to think about it. Like, there might be multiple versions of ourselves. I'm talking about your exact, and it ain't a clone, bro. It's you. It ain't a clone. It's you. It's just that magical spiritual shit that only God can pull off, where he puts multiple versions of you in multiple different verse universes, and it's just like our brains are still connected though, because they wired the same way. So the brain is able to pick up spiritual connections. you know hey, I checked out a study, right, that like this university proved that the human brain is able to connect with other people's thoughts at a distance, right? And what I mean by that is that people can think the same shit at the same time. People can do telepathy for real. Like I told people over the years about this study to where it was two universities. I don't remember where, but we'll just say one was in Canada and the other one was in China. But these two universities communicated with each other and they said, we're going to do a study, right? And what the study is going to be is we're going to take a lock, right? We're going to send this lock from Canada. The students are going to inspect the lock and then they're going to send it over to China. The Chinese students are going to inspect the lock, right? And then the task is to make a key that fits the lock. But it was in such a way to where they were trying to prove telepathic connections if you put a certain type of task in front of two separate groups of people. And what they found was both people came up with the same kind of key. Like I explained it wrong. No, I explained it wrong. It was like maybe nobody got to see the lock. It was just like a professor saying, hey, look, I got a lock. I'm not going to show you the lock. I'm not going to tell you nothing about the lock. I just want you to meditate on this lock that I told you about. I'll give you all the details verbally, but you can't see it. And then I want you to meditate on it and then set out to make a key. And supposedly, two universities on different sides of the world made a key for this lock that was similar. I think that's what it was. That's how it went, you know. And so they were like, this phenomenon is real because we've conducted studies to prove that minds are connected in one way or another, but it's like really hard to figure out exactly how they're connected. But if you put people in a certain position, there's connections that are made, even if they're distant strangers that never met each other. They can still share the same thoughts and complete a task on the same frequency. Because like I said, this is a real study that happened where two schools on opposite ends of the world made a key that was, both of the keys were similar to each other. And these students never met each other. These students didn't know what the other students was making. They had no knowledge of each other than they were involved in a study, right? And they ended up making the same key. And both of their keys was able to unlock this lock that they never seen and didn't know nothing about. They never seen it. They just had certain details. So, right, it to me that just makes me really believe back to the deja vu thing, to where there's people that are us, not clones. And it could mean that, but like, why do you get that though, Christ Walker? That was the whole question, is why do you even have that feeling? To me, that's not a feeling of a glitch. That's the feeling of, see, we blame everything on a glitch, but like a glitch is a mishap. A a glitch is a malfunction. Like a glitch is like a problem in a program, an imperfection, like a abnormality. So that's why I don't think it's a glitch, because you don't that's not what is considered, right? When you have a deja vu, it's a very real feeling that you get, and it's a feeling of familiarity to where you've been there before. You've been in this same exact spot and you've experienced this. Just it's weird. This crazy feeling comes over you. Or it could just simply be another motherfucking person that was in another body but had your spirit. It's just misplaced pattern recognition. Same person. We see shapes in the clouds or faces. You know what? I just seen a face today, bro. I was looking out the window up at the trees, and it's wintertime, so the trees ain't got no leaves on them, right? Man, I'm sitting on the couch with the curtains open, and this just, I swear to God, man, that's crazy you said that, because just happened today, right? I was looking through the window at the tree across the street, just at the branches, and all of a sudden a Chinese man's face appeared in the branches, right? Like, clearly I could see him, but he wasn't looking at me. He was looking a different way, but I was like looking at the branches, and I was like, damn, there's a Chinese man, like an older Chinese man in the motherfucking trees, man. And I've been seeing shit like that all my life, man. I remember another time when I was in Las Vegas, I went over to a friend of mine's house, right? And the only place they had to sit was in the dining room right outside of the kitchen. And it was just one chair up against the wall. And that, so I sat down on the chair, right? And the carpet was dirty to the motherfucker. It was just dirty. You could tell it ain't been cleaned in a long time. So I'm looking at a spot on the floor, and all of a sudden it just turned into this young black girl's face. I mean, I could see a hairstyle and everything. I didn't even tell nobody, man. I was just tripping out on this little stain on the floor and how it turned into a young black girl's face, man, with her hair in a certain style and everything. And I was like, wow. But I've had that shit so many times, bro. I've seen devils, demons. I've seen all, like, at least what our perception of a demon face would look like, just a scary looking face, you know what I'm saying? And and I seen it on the floor, or I'll see it on the wall, or just, it could be anywhere, man, but it always appears in like like really abnormal places. Like, you'll look at the dirt while you walking, and you'll just see a face appear in the dirt. Hey, did anybody hear about in Brazil? There was a landslide, right? And this just happened like a few months back, right? There was a landslide, man, like a really bad landslide right after a a good rain, or whatever you want to call it, and half the hill slid off the mountain. And so these guys came to look at the damage so they could see what they had to do, right? And on the bare rock and the dirt where the land had just slid off from, I swear to God, man, there was a lady's face, but it was so defined, it was undeniable, and anybody could see it. It was like it didn't make any sense, because it's one of those things, like, if you go dig a hole in the middle of the woods, there's a strong possibility or the history of the world that's seeing that dirt. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody ever seen it, right? That's the beauty of dirt. Is like, when you move dirt, you may be the first person to ever see that dirt in the history of the world. And that's what they believed about this face on this rock, because it was buried under a whole fucking mountain, that the only reason it was exposed was because of a landslide. You should look it up, man. It was in Brazil, bro. And you see there's a lady's fucking face, and it's like, it's crazy, because she's like looking like this. She's got her eyes this way, but her face is that way. And it's just like, it's no denying that that's a lady's fucking face, bro. I swear to God, man. And I seen that shit, and I was like, how is there a lady's face on a piece of rock that broke away because of a landslide in the middle of the fucking jungle, out on a road, out, you know how Brazil is, man. It's like a rainforest in certain parts. And it's just like, boom, her face. Nah, it was a face, bro. It didn't look vaguely like a face. It was a motherfucking lady's face. And that's why it made the news, because, like, when everybody seen it, they was like, whoa, this ain't no vague face. This is all the way a lady's face. And nobody can understand how it got there, because it was like buried under tons of dirt. And it wasn't, it was on the face of a damn rock, bro. It wasn't on the face, it was in between two pieces that broke in half. And it was almost like, damn, could that be some type of spirit type thing? Well, I said that, right? But I was thinking about something else too, and how there's all these weird occurrences that ain't got nothing to do with like paranormal activity or, the shit we normally hear about aliens, ghosts, this and that. Like deja vu's ain't got nothing to do with that, and neither do these faces that just be popping up in random places, but everybody be seeing them. No, this ain't like a thing that's only isolated to just a few types of people. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I remember you, JD. I remember you, bro. Absolutely, I do. But like, I don't know if you're peeping the vibe in the chat, but like, why you spelling out blood? It's different if you talking to a person and you say, yeah, blood, 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 but why are you spelling it though in your sentences? I know you remember me, blood. Like, are you trying to make a statement? That's all I want to know, man. No disrespect, man. Respectfully, but are you trying to make a statement? It's not a weird occurrence, like I said, it's just misplaced pattern recognition. What is misplaced pattern recognition? I want to look that up, man. Like I don't feel like nothing is misplaced, and I think the definition of it. And another thing is I have a huge problem with who feels qualified to answer these questions, man. Like, how do you what do you study to know that? Like what do you study? Is there some kind of course that I'm unaware of that these smart people that can go study something that like has no field of study and say, okay, well, this is what it is. Nah, but that's not always the case though. That like I hear what you're saying, but that is not always the case. Sometimes it is undeniable. It ain't nothing misplaced about the pattern. It be a face for real, just like deja vu. Like I said, some people get this feeling that is so powerful. They know that it's deeper. It's not just a thing that happens. It's like there's a reason. The same way that when you get chest pains, you know that you may be getting ready to have a damn coronary or a major, cardio event, right? It just that's not even a good description of what I'm trying to say. But like when you see lightning, you know the rain's coming. It ain't like you gonna see lightning and it's a misplaced pattern of the weather. It's like when you see lightning and you hear that thunder, you know the rain is coming every single time, right? It ain't no mistaking that. You know what I'm saying? So, but like, all right. So let me ask you this. So you're telling me that people just be having just insignificant feelings that are random and don't mean shit. That's what you telling me. Like it's just shit that don't mean nothing. I seem nervous. Jay Dula, man. If that's how you feel, then go ahead and get the fuck up out of here, man. Cause ain't nobody nervous. I just want to know why you keep blooding everybody. That's all. I don't care that you were blood at all in any way, but I'm just saying, like if and I can picture you coming off like one of those cats I ran up like I ran into in prison or something that just wants to be the bully, that wants to believe everybody's just afraid of him or something. Like ain't nobody nervous, man. I'm just trying to have. Why don't you sit back, relax, and listen to what's being said? And I'm telling you, anybody can learn from this shit because this shit don't get talked about enough, right? And this is what we talking about. We ain't talking about who's nervous and all that type of shit. But anyways, So back to you, Dr. Spo. You telling me that these random feelings that people get and these random sightings, you telling me they're insignificant, they don't mean shit to nobody, and they're just a trick of the brain? That's what you telling me, man? That's what I'm gonna walk away from this conversation with? I mean, I'll never take your word as law, but like that's what you really think that it is. So you wouldn't connect no significance to it in any way. So let me ask you this then. The next question is where did you learn that from? Who told you that it meant nothing? Right? Because you must be a non-superstitious person. You must be one of those people to where if you hear noises in your house, you don't think it's a ghost. You just think the house is settling, right? That's the kind of person you are, right? If you see a stain on the floor, you don't see a face. You just see a stain, right? That's what it sounds like. My head is cold, people. I got to put my beanie back on. I didn't take it because a superstitious individual would not have said that. You know what I'm saying? They would have really been like, you know what? Maybe sometimes 50% of the times it's insignificant, and the other 50% of the time it's an actual thing that occurs. Because I don't believe that there's a whole bunch of randomness to this world. I believe everything is like it happens for one reason or another, man. And I like that's just my standpoint. But I'm glad that you said that you're not superstitious and that you don't believe in it. So that just means, unfortunately for me and you, bro, that you are not the right individual for me to talk to because I don't like talking to people that dismiss stuff and just their teachings, the way they was brought up in the world is that, oh, that don't mean nothing, man. Just forget about it. That noise you heard downstairs, that was just the house settling. Whole time it was a motherfucker creeping through your window, right? So it's just like me personally, I can't just sit up here and dismiss stuff as just being, you know, some type of anomaly or a insignificant pattern of nothingness when sometimes these signals be so motherfucking clear and vibing so heavily that like you know it's more than just nothing. You know what I'm saying? And so like I really was listening to Aria, and she was supposed to be telling me like the book I should read, and maybe she did. I didn't see it because I got sidetracked like always, you know. But anyways, Dr. Spo goes on to say that I think superstition just comes from lack of understanding. If you attempt to try to understand the natural underlying causes, there's no room for superstition. Well, I mean, you also don't like, no, I don't take it as disrespect, not in any way. I just want to know what led you to your conclusion to where you believe that a number of different things that occur in almost everybody's lives have no significance whatsoever. Like, where did you get this evidence from that a lot of stuff is just insignificant nothingness and it doesn't mean anything to anybody, so it ain't worth focusing on? You know, it's just things that happen because it's a, what'd you call it? It's a displaced pattern. You feel me? Right. No, I don't think that. I ain't gonna say that, but I do think he's a little bit way out. Like just shutting the whole idea down that we could have something there, like it could really be something, you know. And unfortunately this ain't a subject that's talked about a lot. Like a lot of people, you don't come across people every day talking about, you know, deja vus and seeing faces on the ground and in the trees and in the clouds. Like me, I never really seen many faces in the clouds, but I've seen a lot on floors and walls. And you know, it's crazy though. Now that I do feel like could be a misplaced pattern of insignificance. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because sometimes I'll see the face, right? Boom. And then if I look away and look back, I won't be able to find the same spot that I seen the face. I won't even be able to find the face again. And honestly, if I look hard enough, another face in a different spot and a different shape will appear, but it won't be the same original face that I originally saw. So I always thought that was trippy too. Like, man, maybe I should stop smoking weed, man. You know, but maybe not. Hey, what's going on, Mad Max? Mad Max is in the house, man. Hey, Mad Max, man. Give me a 100 if you ever had a deja vu before. As a matter of fact, it's 9 people in the chat, man. If anybody ever seen a face in the dirt, on the floor, in the trees, in the class, anywhere, give me a 100, man. You know what I'm saying? I need a 100 so I can see if it's just me or it's just shit just nobody's even ever experienced this shit and it's just a misplaced pattern of insignificance. You know what I'm saying? Because I just seen a face today and I'm just trying to figure out it was a Chinese guy, man. And it's weird because I've been talking about Chinese people lately, man, like in a good way, but now I'm seeing them in the trees, faces made out of branches. Man, I see a lot of 100s, man. I don't know if everything's from one source, but you know what? Hey, telling you, man, I don't feel Dr. Spo feels like it doesn't really mean anything to anybody. And so it's just a thing that happens, but it really doesn't mean nothing. And I just can't agree with that, bro. Not me, man. I can't agree with that. I didn't say I hate the Chinese, man. I fuck with the Chinese people, man. Some of them are assholes, but like that can be applied to any group of anybody, Like, but most, like, I met a lot of. I'll tell you this: the Chinese people on the West Coast, they real cool, man. I went to this Chinese restaurant in Altadena, right? And they only mean to you if they never seen you before. But once they know you, they warm up to you, and you turn out to be cool. My life goal is to have enough money to have a decent funeral, even if nobody shows up. That's my life goal. Is to die with enough money to have a decent funeral, man. It's my life goal. And then they can cremate me after the fact, but you know, as long as I get enough money to have a decent funeral, I'm good with that. Yeah. And as long as I die handsome, I'm cool with that too. I don't want to die with any facial injuries where they gotta close the casket. I don't want that neither. I know, right? What the fuck? I feel you. A lot of people would say that. Back when I was growing up in the early 90s, it wasn't uncommon for them young D boys to take a trip to the casket shop and pre-order a casket ahead of time because they knew they was gonna get smoked. So they decided that they wanted to hold on. They decided that they would go get a casket ahead of time so they wouldn't die broke. You know what I'm saying? Mafia guys move cities often to avoid getting whacked. Okay. You know what? I'm in a I'm in a I'm in a place where there's a lot of mafia guys. In Michigan, there's a lot of mafia guys. Black mafia, Middle Eastern mafia, Italian mafia, just mafia in general. Turn it off. What you gonna eat? Halfway cold chicken? Yeah, but you get a cold stomach flu from not heating it properly. 2 minutes and 30 seconds ain't gonna overcook it. It's gonna bring it up to 140 degrees, which is safe to eat temperature. Jay Dula says, "Why not have a goal of living life instead of just preparing for death?" What the fuck you mean? Everybody, you have to prepare for death. What you think life is? You was dying from the day you was born. All I said is a life goal of mine is to have enough money to have a proper burial when that time comes. I'll have a nice funeral. I'll have a nice casket. and everything like that. And there ain't nothing wrong with that. It's all about your perspective, man. Some people, I guess, they think they gonna be out here living forever, man. Christ, ain't nobody skipping you, man. It's just like, you know, you asked me, let me make sure. Why not have a life goal of getting closer to God and prepare yourself for the day of judgment? Because when a person asks me my life goal, that doesn't mean I need to go down and itemize lists of everything that I'm preparing for. And like I'm only naming one goal, right? That's not to say that just because I want to have enough money to get a proper burial, that's not to say that I'm not getting closer to God. And like I didn't want to go down and through the whole list of every goal. Is just he asked me a question and I answered it with the answer that I felt like giving him. But there was a lot of dynamics to that answer. It wasn't just preparing for death. You know what I'm saying? It was a whole laundry list of shit that I'm preparing for up until that time. But the main thing that I'm going to be preparing for is the fact that I can have a proper burial, because getting closer to God and all that shit, that's like a private matter. You know what I'm saying? That's like something I don't have to share. I don't mind sharing the fact that I want to have a proper burial during my final day, but I like sharing that I'm getting closer to God and preparing myself for judgment. That's more personal. So like maybe if we were to sit down and have a conversation, then that would come out during the conversation. But just a quick question, I gave a quick answer. Like you know what? I'm thinking outside the box, man. I don't want to say the same shit everybody else says, right? Like everybody, most people would give you the same answer. They got the same goals, and most of these motherfucking suckers ain't gonna even achieve none of them. That's just a goal that they ain't never gonna achieve, right? Getting the proper burial with the right amount of funds is an actual achievable goal. Niggas talking about, oh, I want to get a Ferrari, I want to own a Bentley, live in a mansion, open up 10 gas stations and a motherfucking gymnasium. Shit that they ain't never gonna do. So it's like, and that ain't even putting bad on everybody, because I ain't saying that neither, but I'm just saying, like, for real, like, man, like, that is one of my goals. And I could have a better goal, but what do you consider a better goal? What is your idea? Oh, I hope in 10 years I have 10 pounds of gold. What's a better goal? Like, because you could say anything. That don't mean that it's a good goal. Getting a proper burial for me is a realistic goal for me. You know what I'm saying? Because currently, right now, if I were to pass away, I don't think I would get a proper burial or a proper funeral. So that's just the kind of shit that I think about, man. You know? Cause you never know when your last day is gonna be. Niggas acting like they gonna live forever, and that has never been the case. Name one motherfucker you ever knew who lived forever. You know what I'm saying? You know, even radiation don't live forever. That blob, the elephant foot down there in Chernobyl, it ain't gonna live forever. And that's some radioactive shit that lives for thousands of years, but it ain't gonna make it forever though. So it's like I don't believe I'm gonna live forever, and so my goal is to make sure. But if you really put that in perspective and think about it, if a motherfucker tells you that they have a goal of having enough money to get a proper burial, then that should say a lot if you break it down. Because if a person can get a nice burial, that must mean he has a nice life, he has a nice home, he's got a nice car, he's got a nice healthy bank account, which means he might even own a business, his kids are taken care of, he got money saved up. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot that goes into saying, oh, I want to have enough finances to have a proper burial. That like says a lot without having to say a lot, you know? Because what rich nigga that ain't gonna have a proper burial, but more furthermore, what poor motherfucker you know that's gonna have a proper burial? You know what I'm saying? You don't know any, right? If a motherfucker doesn't have money, they not getting a proper burial. If a person does have money, then they have a proper burial. They have a whole lot of stuff, not just the burial. Everyone I know who has good funerals got money in life, got nice cars in life, got businesses, got nice clothes, got jewels, got everything motherfuckers say that their goals are. They already got it. All I did was skipped over all that shit and went straight to the end. That's all. That's all I did, man. I skipped over anything that could possibly be a goal and gave you the end game, right? Because if I get a proper burial, that's because I lived a proper life. And I hope that answered your question, man. You know, it's not about living forever. It's about life worth living. I got a life worth living, man. I always tell people, man, this shitty ass life, I still like it because it's my shitty life, bro. You know, I do, I do. I see. I'm the kind of individual that celebrates small victories, man, because I was always the guy that had shit the hard way, right? So I always celebrated like doing shit the hard way, the unconventional way, you know, why everybody else is taking the easy road on easy street. Here I am on a hard road, the road less traveled, doing shit the hard way. Instead of using a nail gun, I go and grab a hammer and a nail. Instead of using a electric drill, I go get a screwdriver and a motherfucking a screw. I do shit the hard way, right? But I celebrate people don't get it. But the thing about it is, I was always able to keep up with those people who had all the power tools and had it easier than me. I was still able to keep the same speed with what I had, even though it was the harder way of doing shit. And people would often look at a motherfucker and say, "Hey, man, you know it's a better way of doing that." And I'm like, "Yeah, you know what? It probably is, but nobody provided me with the tools in life to take it easy, and I haven't reached the point where I can afford those tools for myself. So I got this old, outdated shit." And furthermore, when we were kids, my mom, hey, we shopped 100% secondhand store clothes, the Dove's Nest, Goodwill, Salvation Army. You know, we went to school wearing used clothes and didn't even know who wore those motherfuckers before us. They weren't even hand-me-downs. Cause hand-me-downs are shit you know who was wearing before you. Like your cousin can give you hand-me-downs. When you go to the motherfucking Dove's Nest or the motherfucking Salvation Army, them ain't hand-me-downs, right? Because you don't know who wore that shit before you. It could have been a rich kid, you know. It could have been a kid worse off than you. So like I said, man, when I was at school, in my XJ900s or my who remembers the like if you were real 80s baby bro and you was really out there styling profiling back in the 80s, then you will remember the Velcro Kangos with the zippers on the side where you could put quarters in, because that's what I used to wear, right? I had the Kangos back before Kango the shoe was even a popular shoe to have. They had Kangos in the 80s, and they had zippers on the sides with velcros on the top. I thought I was the coolest kid in school, but they was Salvation Army shoes though. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I did? I used to take 50 cents every day to school with me, man, because we had an ice cream room at our elementary school, and I would put 50 cents in my shoe and zip it up because I knew I wouldn't lose it. And we would go to the little ice cream shack at recess, and I would reach down, unzip my shoe, pull my little 50 cents out, and boom, I got a big stick because the big sticks were only 50 cents. You know what I'm saying? And when I die though, I don't wanna be still doing life the hard way, right? Not me. I've been doing life the hard way my entire motherfucking life. At some point, I feel like I should be able to get a chance to get to a position where like easy street comes on its own. Like I don't have to keep trying to go chase it, right? Because a wise rich nigga once told me, man, when you good at what you do, you ain't gotta chase the money. The money chases you. You feel me? And I'm good at what I do. Whatever it is that I do, it don't matter. It can be 100 different things, but just know, nigga, if I do it, I'm gonna be good at it. Therefore, money should have been chasing me, right? You know. But at the same time, some people have to take the hard road. And on top of that, you know what I'm saying? Hey, people motherfucking people block each other. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of people out here that are professional cock blockers, man. They wake up every day to go block your motherfucking ass from all your opportunities, from all your growth. And you know what your job is? Well, number one, your job is to know you got suck ass niggas that are professional blockers. That's the first goal. And the second goal is once you come to the realization that it's people out there that want to block your motherfucking ass, that are professionally doing it, it's like dodging raindrops, homie. That's your second job. That's your second goal, is to dodge those motherfucking blocks like raindrops. And if you can do that, the money will come to you. You ain't got to go chase it. Because that's something a lot of people ain't good at. Motherfuckers get blocked. They don't know how you get over a 200-foot block wall with no grapple gear. How you gonna get over it? You know, that's how people try to appear and show up in niggas' lives as a 200-foot tall block wall. Ain't no way over it. You just stuck, right? But the trick is to have real strong hands. And the key word was, I said, block wall. Real rock climbers don't use ropes. They use their hands. They make it to that top of that block wall, right? Because they got strong hands and feet, right? So that was the key word in the whole scenario, is people come and post themselves up in your life like a 200-foot block wall. And you ain't got no rope. You ain't got no grappling gear. But you know what you got? You got some strong hands and some strong feet. You can get up over that block wall. It ain't impossible, you know. And I always said, living with no support is damn near impossible, but the key is it ain't, right? So, anyways, long story short, man, hey, I just want to be in a position where motherfuckers can come and show fake love at my funeral, man. Act like they really gave a damn, right? Because without a funeral, ain't nobody showing up, you know. I know niggas who was buried in cardboard boxes, niggas who was buried in clear construction bags and lawn bags and shit because they family couldn't bury them properly. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be that guy. Because if I can get it now, I'll be straight when that time comes. You know. But I tell a motherfucker 1,000 times and they still won't get it. Chicken Lizard, what's going on, man? Hey, you know what? I'll be right back. What going on, bro? The fuck going on, bro? I can't call it what it do. Sometimes me, but mostly you. All right, man. All right, I'm back, man. I'm back like I'm back like Spice One's career, homie. Damn, ain't nobody said nothing for a minute except for Chicken Lizard. Hey, Chicken, let me ask you a question, bro. What'd you think about the gaming experience? Yeah, I think dreams have meaning, man. Um, I think dreams are based on a lot, man. Dreams can be based on trauma. Dreams can be based on stress. Dreams can be based on love, loneliness, impending doom. Um, I believe that people have the ability to sense things before they happen, but I believe that you got to be able to pick up the signs. And that's what we were talking about earlier, in a sense, about deja vus and seeing different little symbols and signs in different places. Like God speaks to us, our ancestors speak to us, but they don't speak to us the way that we think they do. Let me tell you something, Christ Walker. Now keep this between me and you, man. Don't tell nobody about this shit, bro. I'm gonna tell you some shit, man. So one night I got arrested, right? And I went to jail. And I had to do some time too. Like it was a it was a class C felony type of night, right? So when I got arrested, wasn't no getting back out. It was sit in jail for 3 months, get sentenced, wait another 2 months, and go to prison, right? That's what kind of night it was. Doesn't matter what I did, just know it was a class C felony type of night, right? So I'm distraught, right? Fucked up, man. I'm mad, going through it. My daughter was just born, and now I'm sitting in jail, and I knew I wasn't getting out. So I get through the holding, right? And at this particular jail, when you first get to the unit, they got an area outside of the cells called the cots, right? Where you lay down with a group of guys, not with a group, that sounds gay, but like in on an individual military cot. It's just an area where there's lots of little, it's about 20 cots, right? And it's because they don't have any cell rooms available. So what you do is you sleep on the cots until a cell opens up. And for the guys that are not going to be getting released, you'll spend a few days on the cots before you actually go into a cell, which is kind of cool because if you're claustrophobic, man, being on the cots is a little bit better because while everybody else is locked in their room, you actually not. So there's benefits to it, but at the same time, it's cold as hell out on the tier some nights. Anyway, long story short, right? Since I knew that I was going up, right? I I got they gave me a cell on like the third night, and I hadn't really been sleeping good because I was stressed out, and so when I get into the room, right, I go to sleep immediately, and I had this dream. And this is what the dream was, Christ Walker. The dream was I fell asleep with the light on. And I woke up and I rolled over. And there was a lady in the cell. But it wasn't like a lady from the jail. It was a lady. It was a I don't know who this lady. It was somebody. And she was just looking at me. She had on a blue silk velvet type of dress, right? With I don't know. I just remember it was shiny blue, and she had it was a white lady, man, but it was a white lady from like the 13th century. Like it was a lady from 2,000 years ago. And I'm looking at it, but it's crazy because when I rolled over and seen her, I was still in the cell. I could see the toilet behind her. I could see the sink and the mirror on the side of her. I looked up and could see the vent. I could see the door and the window behind her. But the craziest part of all was I could see myself still sleep on the bed facing the wall in fetal position, right? So I'm looking at the whole scene and I'm like, what the fuck is this? And who is this lady? And then she was just looking at me, right? With this little peaceful, serene look, right? She didn't look mean, she didn't look mad. But the other crazy thing about this dream was she was like floating. Her feet weren't touching the floor. She was floating above the floor. And I was like shocked because I never had a dream like this in my life. This was the first and last time I ever had a dream like this. It was just this lady with this blonde hair, but it was like gold. It wasn't even blonde. She had gold hair, right? And I remember it was a white lady. And so I was thinking maybe it was one of my mother's ancestors, right? And she whoever it was came to visit me in that cell, right? And they woke me up out of my sleep, but I was still asleep because I like I said, I seen myself still sleep on the bed because my other self got up, my spiritual self got up and turned around and looked at her. And it was inside the cell and the light was still on. And it made me feel better, right? I went back to sleep and I never forgot that dream. Like that was the only dream that I remember vividly out of all the dreams I ever had. So the point I'm trying to make to you is this, man. Dreams absolutely mean something because like people can come and visit you in your subconscious state through the spiritual, right? They if they want to, they can. Just know that. If they want, they can come visit you. They can wake you up and everything. And I always live my life as a black nigga, as a even though I'm light skinned and half white, even though I may have a proper way of saying shit, anybody that you will ever speak to will tell you that my entire life I ran with niggas. I've been a black man. Like I never it wasn't a question for me, man. It was just something that it was in me, not on me, right? But I acknowledge my mom's side of the family too, though. Like, but when I had this dream, my daughter was just born and I was in the county jail on my way to prison, right? I don't know who it was, bro. I don't know who this lady was, man, but it's the only dream that I can remember vividly in my 44 years of living my life. There is this one dream when I was sitting in the county jail and I was so tired from being on the cots. And, when you're stressed out, it's hard to fall asleep properly, right? But when I got to the cell, it was just, I went into this deep sleep. And then, like, the lady didn't even make no noise. It was nothing. It was just, I got up, I turned around, and she was just in the center of the cell. And she was just looking down at me with this peaceful, serene look on her face, like no anger, no judgment, no nothing. And it was just like she didn't move, right? And something made me just spin back over and lay back down. But I remember everything I saw when I spun over. I remember seeing my own body still sleep, breathing, sleeping. And I'm thinking to myself, like, well, then who the fuck am I that's looking at this lady that's not even really in the cell and I'm sleeping still, but I'm awake to see this lady. And my cellie is above me. He's sleeping too. I never told that nigga about this dream. Cause I didn't know the dude, right? I didn't really like him. I didn't. I don't. I'm the one of them people that All the times I got locked, I never liked my cellies. I didn't like none of them niggas. Right? It was like maybe one or two that was cool, but man, I ain't never tried to make friends with the dudes I was celled up with. I was just on some shit like, I'm in this bitch. I don't want to be here. And I've been to jail a lot of times, but that was the only motherfucking time that I've ever been locked up in my life that something like that happened. Only time. Only time. And I still to this, I've told people about it. Nobody's ever gave me no kind of insight on what it could have been. People just hear it and say, "Oh man, that's crazy." But that was it. There was never nothing like that, man. But it could have been the Virgin Mary. But my thing is, why would she come visit me? I don't know. I looked at it as probably one of my ancestors on my mother's side of the family. Because like it could have been the Virgin Mary, but shit, I survived death many times, right? I've survived some shit that was meant to take my life, and not to even speak on it too deeply, but it's like I told a lot of people, man, over the years, I speak on that particular dream because I was asleep when it happened. Imagine that though, man. You have an outer body experience, but it happens while you sleeping. You get up and you fully conscious and awake, but you look down and you see yourself sleeping in the bed still. And you're like wondering, you're conscious enough in that moment to know, like, damn, bro, I'm asleep, but I'm awake to see this spiritual being right here. And it was a female. It was a lady, a white lady. And I ain't even embarrassed to say it because I still don't know what the fuck it was. I mean, I know what it was. It was a lady, but I don't know who she was. But I swear, let me tell you another thing too. I just thought about. I swear, I didn't heard this lady whispering to me within the last couple of years, man. Because I was laying in my bed when I was going through a really rough time, right? And this lady started whispering in my ear. She wasn't whispering; she was just talking really low, and she kept telling me that I needed to leave where I was at. And she was like, "You need to leave," and I didn't leave though. I didn't leave. I ended up leaving, but I didn't leave till months after she came into my ear. And it was the same shit, bro. But this time I was awake, laying in the bed, but I was close to sleep. I was real tired and I was drifting off, right? And this lady came into my ear and was telling me that I needed to leave the house for some reason. But like she was saying, like, I needed to leave, like I'm in danger type. Like you need to get out of this house. It's not safe here. And I just remember I didn't even respond to her. I kind of like looked because I remembered the other dream from the county jail. There was nobody there, but the voice was right there. It was like in the room with me, man. So maybe I'm a spiritual motherfucking person. I don't know, man. Yeah, I seen this lady, man. I swear to God, on my mother, on my kids, on my soul, on my life, on everything I've ever loved. I seen this lady in the county one night and I seen it through an outer body experience. And I knew I wasn't getting out of jail. And I think that's why she came to visit me because she was like, maybe something was gonna happen to me, bro. And going to jail, you know how people say jail be saving people. Maybe I got saved. Cause let me tell you why I went to jail, right? So this is why I went to jail. I used to have this partner named Devon. At least I thought he was my partner, right? Devon is a black nigga from Long Beach, but he wasn't like a thug or nothing. He had a big fat white girlfriend with all kind of mixed kids, and but he was a cool dude, but he wasn't like a street dude, right? But he had cousins that were, and they would come and visit him and shit from out of town, and so they come so much to his house that they know the little thugs that do live in the apartments, right? So one day he came to me and he was like, Hey, bro, my cousin and some of these cats that he been hanging around with in the neighborhood, they've been talking about robbing you, homie. And I was like, man, what you mean, bro? Like, don't be playing with me. He was like, man, I swear, man, they was sitting in my house and they was plotting on you, bro. They were saying that they know when you get paid. They know where you cash your check. And these niggas broke as fuck and they want to rob you, my nigga. This is what he told me. So them not knowing me, I went to one of my big homies' house and I picked up a pistol, right? I got I got a silver Ruger 357 Magnum. And I took it home because I was like, well, if they gonna try to rob me, then well, I need to protect myself. So I get this pistol, man, and so I got the pistol, right, and I tucked it in the house for months. These niggas never came to rob me. Nothing ever happened, right? And so then my daughter's born, and I get a call on the phone from another one of my partners that was in town, and just so happens he was looking for a pistol, and I had just got my income taxes at the time. So I bought my baby daughter all kind of shit, man. I paid to get the carpet cleaned. I went and bought like $40 worth of cleaning supplies and I scrubbed the whole motherfucking house because she was getting ready to come home from the hospital, right? And luckily, I gave my baby mama the H&R Block card that had all the money on it. I didn't carry it with me because of these motherfuckers was. I got alerted that they was going to be trying to rob me, and I didn't know when it was going to happen. So, anyways, right? I get a call from someone else I know, and they're looking for a pistol. So I said, because my daughter's coming home from the hospital, and I really didn't, at the time, I didn't want to have this pistol in the house. So I was just gonna end up selling this one to him for more than what I got it for, and then taking the difference and going and getting another one. Because my boy had multiple pistols. I could have just like I get 300 off of that one, and then I could take 150 and go get another one and keep and then I'll have 150 plus I'll have my burner back. So that was what I was gonna do, right? So I left the house. I told my baby mama I'll be back. I'm finna go do a quick deal, and I ended up getting pulled over. Right? I ended up getting stopped. They searched me. They found the pistol. They tried to get me to tell on the person I got the pistol from. I didn't tell them. So the cop was like, "Oh man, you're stupid. You know you're going down for this." Da, 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 da. So I'm like, "Yeah, whatever. Take me to jail. I don't give a fuck." So that's how I ended up in jail, right? That's how I ended up with the felony. That's why I got the pistol in the first place because somebody came and he could have been lying, right? But somebody came to me and said that motherfucker was trying to rob you, man. And it made this chain of events occur. But it's crazy because the timeline was like 3 months, right? I waited for these niggas for 3 months and they never came. So when the night not the night she was born, but the night she was scheduled to come home from the hospital. Well, she was supposed to come home the next day. So let's say she's born on the 20th. She's supposed to come home on the 22nd. So on the 21st is when I got the call. And I left the house with this pistol to go sell it. And out of nowhere, for whatever reason, I got stopped that night. Not even doing nothing. I wasn't acting suspicious. I wasn't doing anything that would indicate that I need to be stopped by these police. So, long story short, bro, like I said, I think maybe I got protected from something. Maybe I got protected from hurting somebody, or I got protected from getting hurt. Because one of the same dudes that my boy Devon told me that was plotting on me ended up meeting my homie that sold me the pistol, and he tried to get over on him, and he got himself in trouble, right? And then Right before I was finna get out, I had to do 4 years on that case, right? They tried to give me 6, but I ended up with 4, man. Right before I was about to get out, right? It was this other dude from North Carolina named Tone. I see him on the yard, but he looks scared because he knows that I was around all my homies and he wasn't even from out there. And so if I wanted to get him touched, all I had to do was go run my mouth and I could have got his ass touched. But I didn't do that. What I did was I approached him and I told him, hey man, let me tell you why I'm in prison, homie. I'm in prison for a gun case, bro. And this bitch ass nigga gonna say, oh yeah, homie, me too, man. We was out there trying to. And I was like, yeah, you know, Devon told me that you and Moon and a couple other dudes was finna rob me, man. Is that true? And of course, he denied all allegations, right? But I was like, bro, I went and got that pistol for you niggas. I just thought that you should know that. And we didn't really talk ever again after that on the yard. We would still see each other in passing, but from that point, because he knew that he had plotted on me. And he also knew that Devon told me about it. And he also knew that I was sitting in prison trying to protect myself against these broke ass, bum ass, bitch ass niggas, man. And all I try to do is get rid of the pistol. And I got fucked off. I got fucked off. And so when I was sitting in the county, maybe whoever that ancestor was comforting me because of the whole nature of how the shit played out and how I caught the case. Because somebody came to me talking about it was a possibility that some cats was gonna try to take something from me, and these the kind of dumbass cats that'll take your life in the process. I met them. I knew all of them, but they just didn't know me very well. So, anyways, they never came. I ended up going to jail for this little stupid ass pistol case, and I had to do 4 years on a 6 year sentence, and whatever. And you know that was the last case I ever been in trouble for, man. I got out in 2012 in December, and I ain't been back since. I ain't been back since. I ain't seen. We'll call her the Virgin Mary. I ain't seen the Virgin Mary since neither. But somebody visited me again later on, a few years later. But they just whispered some shit in my ear, man. No, I was going to sell it, right? And the thing was the dude that I was gonna sell it to was a cat. He was a third party, right? He was a middleman. He knew somebody who wanted it, but he had the money. Maybe it was a setup. I don't know. But the point, he was too scared to come to my house and get it. Cause that was the first thing I told him. Oh yeah, I know you, homie. Come to the house. He was like, no, I don't want to come to the house. You come to me. And I'm like, oh no, homie, I'm not coming to you to do no deal with no pistol. So we agreed to meet in a specific location to make this transaction, right? This exchange. And it never happened because I got popped on the way there. And so I always thought that maybe that was protection from something that I didn't know was coming. And that's why she came to visit me to let me know that, hey, look, I know you got to do this time, but believe me, they was finna kill you. They was finna end your life. And you don't know that. And you're never gonna know, but something way worse than this jail cell was gonna happen to you. I don't know. I think about it still to this day why that shit went the way it went because dude didn't want to come to my. He lured me out the house basically, right? That's what happened. I got lured out the house, but I didn't get lured to his location. I just got. I'm smart about shit for the most part. I was like, well, I'm not gonna go to him. So we gonna just meet in a public area of my liking that he agrees with, and that's where we'll do it. And so that's what I was setting out to do, but it never happened. I never made it. And how many stories have you heard throughout your life where a person left the house, gave their wife a kiss, like, okay, honey, I'll be back. And they just never made it back. You know what I'm saying? Just never made it back. Simple as that. Like, and so, you know, um, that shit happened and everything. But you know, my first night in the cell, I had the weirdest fucking dream of my life, man. And I'm talking about that was in 2009, bro. And I still remember it in 2026. Like I had the dream last week, man. Like I remember this lady so clearly. Let me tell you something else. She had her look was like that's why I said she looked like a lady from 2000 years ago, cuz she had that look of like them old pictures and them statues that you see, like just like you said, Mother Mary, like just she had the old world features, and I was just like, this is the craziest shit ever, man. Because I wasn't thinking about no white ladies. I wasn't like this. This is not even a part of anything that I was on. To see this lady is completely like out of the ordinary for me because it didn't fit any of the narrative that I was on at the time. It didn't fit, and so you know I really believe that it was more of just protection. And she was visited me because she doesn't, maybe she knew that I had no idea that I was being protected from something that was meant to end my life. And, like I'll never know, bro. But the reason I thought that was because a dude that was very much alive like me came to me and said that some guys was plotting on me over at his house, and the only reason they were talking in front of him is because they didn't know that me and him was cool like that. And we was, right? This dude Devon, we met him when me and my baby mama moved over there, just in passing. And then he's like a real persistent type of dude. Like that nigga will come to your house and knock on the door and ask you if he can just chop. Like Devon was a cool dude, right? He had a little Toyota Tacoma, and he had a 1970 Camaro, right? And that nigga used to go grocery shopping with his wife. Man, bro, this nigga would call me every single time that he went shopping. And he would say, hey, bro, I'm going shopping. You need to go? And I'll look at my pockets and be like, yeah, I got some money. Yeah, come get me. So that this nigga would come drive his raggedy ass truck over to my house and shit. His Camaro was raggedy as fuck too, but I liked it because it was the old school and it had potential. But like I was scared to drive in that bitch because like everything on it was broke, and like it used to make a knocking noise every time he stopped, like a bolt was finna come loose. But it still was it was a cool car though if he would have had the money to fix it. But anyway, he would come pick me and my baby mama up in his Toyota Tacoma, and he would take us to Walmart, and we would all go shopping. Him and his wife would go shopping. Me and her would get our little shit we needed, and then his ass, yeah, Devon, you probably remember him. He had a big fat white girlfriend with a bunch of mixed kids over there in Sterling Park, man, and he would take me shopping, man, and that was my boy though. But one night he came to me and he told me, man, these niggas plotting on you, man. You better protect yourself. So I did, and it cost me 4 years of my life, man. And it was bullshit because like I wasn't I wasn't being reckless. Maybe a little bit, right? Maybe a little bit, but at the time of my arrest, I was just trying to get rid of it so there would be no reason possible for something to happen to my child or myself. But I left and never made it back home. Um, yeah, music fan. I don't remember. He had a so his Toyota Tacoma was primered. It was a decent shaped truck, but it like he's the kind of nigga to buy a car he likes to try to fix on it with no money. So he had primered the whole, and they be tweaking the shit, right? but he primered the whole truck. But it was a decent shape. It was a stick shift. This nigga used to be sliding up Eastern, hitting through the gears like, and that motherfucker jerk every gear. But that was our only ride. It was either that or the bus at the time. And even though the bus was easy, right? Well, he had a 1970 Camaro too. It was a brown one with primer spots on it. And it was dirty as fuck on the inside, but it was a little two-door Camaro. And we used to slide around town in that. But yeah, he was cool, man. I really liked it. I used to go over to his house when I got weed, and I'd go smoke with him and shit, cause him and his girl smoked. Yeah, it was a little 1970 with the circle lights in the back. He had the one with the two circle lights, and it didn't even have a spoiler. It just was. It didn't have a spoiler. It was real raggedy, but it ran good though. That motherfucker was raggedy, but it ran good. That motherfucker started every time he turned the key. But yeah, he told me that his cousin and some of his cousin's boys, and it was so crazy because his cousin's girl wanted to lay down with me. And I denied her. I was like, nah, man, because I liked the dude at first. I didn't know he was plotting on me. And so my window of opportunity, like I could have slept with his girl. But I've been moving with integrity for years and years and years and years and fucking years, showing integrity to these sucker ass niggas who don't deserve it. But I'm glad that I did that. I'm glad that I can have integrity against a nigga who don't deserve it, because that brought me many blessings. Christ Walker says, homie, I think you're right about how you interpreted the dream, bro. That motherfucker was trying to kill you and jail saved you. Yeah, man. Jail saved me, man. And it's crazy because I heard unfortunate events occurred in both of their lives, in Tone and Baby Moon's life. I'm telling you, I seen Tone on the yard, and I approached that nigga face to face, and I told him, cause he knew who Devon was too. I told him, I said, man, Devon told me that you and Moon with your homie was getting ready to rob me, man. That nigga denied all allegations, but he ended up telling me that they burglarized somebody's house and found some guns, and then got caught. And then when they got caught, he got charged with the ex-felon in possession of a firearm case. So now this nigga's doing time. So I told him, well, that homie, that's what I'm here for. And you know why I'm here for that? Because Devon told me you niggas was finna rob me. So I went and got a burner just in case I had to take one of you niggas out. And that nigga gave me like a little nervous laugh. And this nigga Tone is kind of like intimidating because he's bigger and he's built muscular and he got a whole bunch of tattoos on his face. But he's from the South, so he's like a country nigga. But if you like seen him and you didn't talk to him, he used to wear this big ass earring with diamonds in it. Like you would think, like he a straight up killer, but he not. Man, that nigga's a weenie. But like he'll as long as he keep his mouth shut, he'll have you thinking some shit, right? But he with the business. I'm not saying that he ain't with the business. I'm just saying that, nigga, you a weenie because we was cool and you was behind my back plotting on me with other people. And we all kicked it at one point. And then what makes you the biggest weenie of all is you plotting on me. You plotting on me around individuals that fuck with me. And the only reason that I didn't go initiate no problems with the nigga when Devon told me was because, for what? I got the ups on this nigga. He don't even know that I know. So I'm just gonna go get me something chunky too. I'm finna get something that I don't need a lot of rounds. I just need to make sure that I don't miss. That's all. That's all I. So I went and got the Ruger 357 because that motherfucker right there will get you every single time, right? So anyway, I waited and I waited and I waited and I waited, and these niggas didn't do nothing. But I ended up seeing him in prison, and I think he actually had got more time than me for the same case because he said he had a 45 with a, at that time niggas only had extended clips. They didn't have like drums and all this bullshit they got now. But he had a 45. I wouldn't have wanted to get hit with that neither. Like, who want to get hit with a 45 with an extendo on it? So, anyways, I seen him and I swear to God, man, I told that motherfucker when I was in prison because I was mad. I felt betrayed. I'm like, bro, I caught this case because of these niggas, man. And these niggas is bums. This nigga was out here from North Carolina. He kept saying he was gonna go back and all this bullshit. And I was kicking it with this fool. He would come over and we would go halves on weed and all this shit. And the whole time, this bitch ass nigga was plotting on me behind my back, man. With Moon, a little light skinned dude like me. That Moon was smaller than me. A little suck ass. I'm telling you, his girl liked me, man. She wanted me over him. But Moon was somebody. He was from Long Beach, and he had a little name because I heard about him later. But like he wasn't no super nobody. He just was a little YN who kind of had a little name for his age. But that's why he was plotting on people because he was real scandalous. And but they didn't do nothing. But I heard they got cracked on some shit, and he got fucked up, and Tone went to prison. Keela, I don't know where his girl went. She probably with another nigga to this day. And I like Keela, man. Keela used to wear. I don't even know why I'm naming names, but I know they ain't watching this shit. But hey, his girl was so sexy, man. She was like a real Bonnie and Clyde type of chick. Like you see her, she got on some Versace sunglasses, and she wore weave, but like I like the way she wore her weave. It matched perfect with her little Versace shades she used to wear. And old girl used to wear her shades in the middle of the daytime, at night. Like every time you seen her, it's something about her. She just always got her shades on, right? But we ended up in the same room by ourselves one day, and it was something. I think it was about some weed or something, right? And she basically told me that she wanted to mess with me, but like I didn't want to do it because I didn't know at the time that her dude was plotting on me. I didn't know. I thought that he was cool people, so I didn't cross that boundary with him out of respect. It ain't never out of fear. It's always out of respect. Come to find out, I should have just went ahead and crossed that boundary and said, "Fuck this nigga." But I'm glad I didn't know. I'm glad I didn't because I don't gotta be a dirt bag just because the next person is, especially over a female. You know, females then got whole wars started. I'm talking about big wars. No, hell no. That was a girl from North Las Vegas. That was a girl named Taviette. I like Taviette too though. She was hood as a motherfucker, but man, I liked her. I met her daddy in prison. Ain't that some shit? I met her pops and I talked to him and told him that we was messing around. He didn't even care. Big swole nigga too, man. Her daddy was a big nigga, like gigantic. But we was cool though. I told him, I was like, yeah, man. I used to mess with your daughter. He sent her a letter and shit. She never wrote back. But I already knew she wasn't finna write back because we had got into it, man, and she put me out and shit. So, man, that was a long time ago though, bro. That was a long time ago. But no, that was Taviette though, music fan. That was Taviette and Veronica, two strippers. They used to go out and get money, right? And not Veronica, but Taviette would come back, give me like $50, $60. And just say, here, this for you. Like, what's this for? Whatever you want to do with it. They'll leave, come back with a big bag of bullshit ass weed, and she'll give me like an ounce and like, here, this for you. I'm like, what you want me to do with this? I don't know, sell it. I'm like, oh, so this mine? Like, yep. putting putting motherfucking old English 800 in her son's baby bottle. I remember one day I watched that little nigga crawl to the edge of the couch and fall off and hit his head, right? This little nigga jumped up and for a second he acted like he was gonna cry and then he just busted out laughing. Her son was a little beast, man. He fell off the couch and bumped his head. And I thought for sure we was gonna have to call the paramedics. But his little ass got up in his diaper and he had a look like he's finna just cry his eyes out and then started laughing. I was like, this little nigga gonna be a gangster when he get older. Bro, why dreams be random as fuck? I don't know, man. I don't know. But that the scenario I just explained for this whole last hour, bro, was everything that had to do with that dream. Everything. That whole scenario, man, had to do with that motherfucking dream, man. And that's the only reason I got into that story, man, because like that was every part of it. And right now, I'm in the house with the girl that was there when that shit happened 17 years ago. She right upstairs. You know, she was at the house when that shit happened. And my baby that I was talking about, that was just coming home from the hospital, she in her room right now, chilling, talking to her friends and shit. But when this happened, she was a newborn. I'm talking about on her way home from the hospital. Now she about to turn 17. She in the room. And all I was trying to do was be a good dude, man. I was trying to protect me and my family and my belongings and everything like that. And that shit cost me 4 years of my life. You know, it could have been a setup, right? You know, motherfuckers is real crafty, man. It could have been a setup. But that's exactly why I told the dude Tone. I ain't telling him about the dream. I just told him why I ended up in prison. Cause of you, nigga. I'm here cause of you. Plotting on me and shit. That's why I'm here. And all this nigga did was had a nervous laughter like like when I said it, he knew he was guilty, but he tried to play it off like he wasn't, like he didn't know what I was talking about, but he knew what I was talking about. And that's how I know they was plotting on me. Cause when I seen him on the yard, he was acting nervous and shit. Oh yeah. Yeah, you know. Hey, bro. Hey, that was the weirdest shit that ever happened to me, man. Spiritually, weirdest shit, hands down. And let me tell you something else, bro. After that shit happened, when I got out, I met this girl, and we was vibing real heavy, right? And I told her about this dream too, right? And when I told her about this dream and shit, and I broke it down the same way I did tonight. I told her the whole shit. Um, she went to the cemetery with me. Like, I don't know why we started going to the cemetery and meditate. Right? I swear it was the weirdest shit. Like we would go, we would roll a blunt of the good stuff, and we would jump in the car at like midnight or later on a night when we both wasn't doing nothing, and we would drive to either a few different cemeteries, but like we would hit up the cemetery and we would park somewhere and we would walk to the cemetery and we would meditate in the cemetery late at night and smoke the weed. I always sat above somebody. I ain't gonna lie. I would pick a spot where somebody was buried. It didn't matter who it was. I would just pick a spot. Not to be disrespectful though. That wasn't what it was about. I would just pick a spot that I knew directly below me was a motherfucker that was buried. And I would sit right there and I would meditate, man. And you know what I would come to find? And this is the timeline for this is like 2014, 2013, 2014, right? Man, I started getting all these good ideas, man. Like when I started and you know what? That might be the reason that I started getting gang stalked and shit, man, for talking about this kind of shit. Like that might be the reason that these people started targeting me because of this shit right here. Or not. I don't really know. I think anyways, but so we'll go to the cemetery, man, and we'll smoke. And she'll sit right next to me. It's not like she went and sat on the other side because we would share a blunt and we would smoke at the cemetery late at night. And we'll pass the blunt back and forth. Yeah, fuck Tone. Nah, you remember a different Tone. You don't remember the Tone that I'm talking about. Tone Tone was from North Carolina, and Tone was a two-faced ass individual. But anyways, let me not get off track, right? Because I'm talking about me and Ashley. We'll take the mothership down to the cemetery, and we'll smoke one, and we'll. I guess I don't know. Maybe we was channeling the spirits from the cemetery. I don't know, but we went to like cemeteries in Henderson, Nevada, and cemeteries in Las Vegas. But that was like a little routine that we would do, and it was like motherfucking. We started manifesting good ideas. Like I swear, shit, like good shit started happening in both of our lives at the same time. I am not bullshitting, man. We ended up getting a new car. We ended up getting our own spot. She was living in the suburbs in a really nice area. I'm talking about a really nice area. I'm talking about $2 million homes type shit. And I was partying with firefighters and police officers and flight attendants and motherfucking school teachers and government employees. Like just good shit started happening, man. I can't explain it. And I started living a life like, man, I can't explain it, man. But like, and this was after I did that little time, man. The timeline is 20 from 2013 to 2013 to 2015. That's the new timeline from 2013 to 2015. That's the new timeline that I was doing this shit, right? We was meeting all the little secret society members, man. Like I was having parties with these niggas. I remember that was I'm gonna tell you a particular night. If anybody remembers when Canelo fought Floyd Mayweather, I made a bet with my homegirl's husband, right? A girl named Ray. Her husband was Mexican, but he acted like a white dude. I made a bet with this nigga that Floyd was gonna beat the shit out of Canelo. And I only bet $40, but I brought music fan. I brought Michael with me that night. Michael was with me. It was me and Michael, nigga. I went and picked that nigga up and said, "Come on, bitch ass nigga, you coming with me tonight? I'm finna show you, nigga, what it do in Green Valley type shit." So we get to the party, and it ain't no hood party. I'm telling you, it's police, firefighters, school teachers. It's like the good people, right? But it's a fight party, right? So we drinking. I'm taking hella jelly shots. We got barbecues going. It's hella motherfuckers in the backyard, hella people in the house. It was a good time. We was having a great time, right? And this bitch ass nigga wants to get drunk and tell me that Canelo is gonna be the new world champion. So I said, man, put $40 on it, cause I know that Mayweather gonna beat the shit out of Canelo. And that's exactly what ended up happening, right? And there was about to be a fight, right? Because when he lost, he was so upset he didn't want to pay me, man. And then his girlfriend was trying to like get a little bit racist on me. But the fact that I brought my cousin, she didn't want to push that line too heavy, but she was trying to. And he was trying not to pay me, but like I didn't even need my cousin because I was like, I went and told Michael, like, hey, I'm gonna need you to watch my back, man. Cause if this dude don't pay me, I swear to God, I'm gonna make him a drink. I'm gonna offer him the drink. And when he takes the drink, I'm gonna take off on his bitch ass. So Michael was like, nah, man, don't do that, man. I'm like, nah, this fool, he lost the bet that he made with me. And so I'm gonna finesse it to where he ain't gonna see it coming. I'm gonna make his bitch ass a drink. I'm gonna give it to him. And when he starts to drink it, I'm gonna bomb on him. But the dude ended up paying me. So we didn't have to go that far. So he paid me, but like he was so mad that he pulled the money out of his pocket and he like slammed it down on the table really hard. And I just laughed because I knew that was like the Mexican pride talking. So I knew that fuck getting mad. I just made $40. So I don't care how mad you are. As long as you pay me for the bet that you made, that's all I care, bro. Like I'm not trying to get into a fight. I'm not trying to have no trouble. But if you make trouble, then just know you gonna make trouble. Cause you got the right motherfucker if you want to make trouble, man. And like we not here for that. We here to have a good time. But like, you know, and then everybody took my side too, right? When people seen he wasn't trying to pay me, people started because like, bro, there were firefighters there. Like this was not the place to act out at all. But I don't give a fuck who I'm around. If you owe me on the west side, it's the same as owing me on the east side. And if you owe me on the east side, it's the same as owing me on the fucking south side, man. You better pay me, man. So he paid me, and Mayweather whooped Canelo's ass. And it turned out to be a good night. And then after we left from that party, we went to an after party, right? We went and hit up PTs, and we hit up the PTs over by Sitel on Sunset, right across the street from the airport. We went to that PT's, and man, it was just a hell of a night, bro. No, no, didn't nobody fall asleep. Everybody was hella drunk though. Everybody was hella drunk. We had been eating vodka jelly shots all night, and then we ordered hella. And you know me, you gotta know I didn't pay for a motherfucking thing, man. Everything was on the house. Yeah, we went to the PTs right there on Sunset over there by Sitel, man. And Michael was trying to get at these two lesbian chicks, and they clowned him. I was like, damn, bro, I would be ready to leave after that shit because like they look good, but like they was both together and they wasn't fucking with him. And well, it was just serious because like man, I was in front of all these people and everybody knew that we made a bet, and this fool sitting up here acting like he ain't gonna pay me, and I'm like, nah, bro, you gotta honor your bet just because you lost. Don't be butthurt because you lost, bro. That ain't what we doing, man. You ain't finna sit up here because like I've been around people like I've been around like man, you just better pay me. It don't even matter who I've been around. You just better fucking pay me and stop playing with me, man. And he paid me, but it was like he didn't want to though. He didn't want to pay me. He was mad. But it wasn't about not paying me. He had the bread. It was about Floyd Mayweather whooping Canelo. That was all it was about. He was buzzing, he was drunk, and he just knew Canelo was the one that was going to defeat Mayweather. And I try to tell him, bro, no, like, you're an idiot, bro. Like, you don't even. And I knew way back then, like, everything is fucking rigged around this bitch. All the football games, basketball games, baseball, it's all fucking rigged. So I already knew, even back then in 2014, I knew that Mayweather had already paid for a victory, even if Canelo could have whooped his ass. Even if, you know, I knew that the game was rigged, that Mayweather was not. So I bet my money on Mayweather and I won. And I was like, bro, you're stupid. You don't understand how the world works. You don't understand what's going on out here. So this easy money, nigga. And it's gonna always be easy money. Cause you don't believe the hype. If I told you, hey, Mayweather is paying for this fight. He hyped it up, he funded it, he's making the most money. What the fuck makes you think he's gonna lose? Oh, I know Canelo. So, all right, well, I'll bet you $40 then. And I won. You know? And I try to tell him, I like, hey man, I try to tell this man that but anyways though, hey listen man, I'm gonna go ahead and end this live, bro. I'm tired. I've been gaming, plus I've been talking. It's 11 o'clock. And yeah, we gonna end this here, and I'll be back tomorrow, man. I don't know what time, but just if you see that red button on my name, it's